Okay, we are officially live on the Stream Sundays Post-Tour Decompression Spooktacular Halloween Hangout. We've got myself, Tosh, and Hazel here. We're here to just hang out, decompress a little bit, talk about the tour. Some other people might join us too, but we'll see. At the current moment, it was just 3 of us. And yeah, so that was fun. How are you guys doing?
Doing pretty good.
Sweet. Yeah, it was a fun tour. A lot of adventures along the way. We've hit a bunch of challenges. Obviously, if you're a fan of us, you've probably seen the GoFundMe link for our van. It unfortunately suffered a catastrophic failure coming down from the Colorado Rockies. So that was interesting. Not so fun, but it was fun because we got a chance to just like hang out with each other. But other than that, we're glad to be home. And yeah, there's just a lot of awesome stuff that happened on the tour. And if you're here hanging out with us, feel free to ask questions in the chat, and we'll be happy to answer anything as we're hanging out. But yeah, I don't know.
Yes. Yeah. Saying hello to all of our friends. Seeing a lot of people here, actually. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with us and spending your Sunday afternoon with us. Yeah, this is actually our first stream post-tour, and it was quite the tour. It was quite the challenge, and a lot of beautiful moments. And I'm seeing people here on the stream that were with us live, and so that's really awesome to see you guys down here. Yeah, yep, we are now, I guess, entering the decompression chamber or exiting the decompression chamber. I haven't really decompressed. I am getting ready for another show. I'm playing keyboards for In-Year. And so as soon as we landed, I was like kind of like diving into like learning all the keyboard parts for that. So which is awesome, but I haven't really had any time off yet. So I am looking forward to that post show so I can actually do that strange human thing called sleep. Um, one of these days. Yes. So, yes, yes, yes. Oh, Amia is
Indeed.
asking how we all finally got home. So yeah, this was wild. So for those of you who didn't know, so our tire blew out in Colorado Springs, literally on the way to the home we were staying in, and so we missed our show in Page. So we were going to stay in Page, but then on the way to Page, the transmission blew out. So we ended up staying in Kayenta. So that we were 30 miles actually from Kayenta. So we were literally in the middle of nowhere. And so the van was able to putter along to Kayenta. So this was the crazy part. AAA doesn't go to Kayenta, so that's where we were. And we were like scrambling to try to find a place to that could repair the transmission, first of all, and also figuring out how to get everyone home. So Hazel had to fly back to DC. Steve had to fly back to LA, like literally the next morning. And they found a transport that got them to the Page airport, which was crazy. It was like in the middle of the night that we were all like scrambling and like, well, how do we get them to the airport? So that was step one. And then the rest of us were there for 2 days, trying to figure it out. And we ended up getting a U-Haul, and there was I guess, a tow that towed the van with Scott and Gordon to get the van towed all the way to Flagstaff. So that's still where White Rabbit is. White Rabbit's still in Flagstaff, and she's in the repair shop. Hopefully, we'll get her transmission repaired. And then the rest of us, we rented a U-Haul and a car and got our stuff and us back to LA. And what was really crazy is that Scott had to drive the rental all the way back from LA to Flagstaff in the middle of a snowstorm. So the weather was fine. And then when he drove back, it was literally the next day. It was the first snowstorm of the year. So that was a pretty harrowing, crazy last few days for the tour.
Yeah, it was
Um,
a bunch of stuff. That's for sure.
yes, yes, yes. But here we are back in one piece. Super grateful to be back. And so yes,
Yeah.
and yes, figuring it out.
Yeah,
Um,
the snowstorm was like an interesting part of the story because the day that we like, came home, it was a beautiful day out. It was really warm, probably like in the 70s or 80s, in Flagstaff. And we're like, okay, just, nice drive home. And the next day I was like, you know what, I just want to get it over with and get the car back to Flagstaff. So, just sort of finalize the whole sort of ordeal. And on the way out there, I saw a bunch of like rain, thunderstorm clouds. I was like, oh, sweet, it's gonna rain. And the closer that I got, it's like Flagstaff is like crazy high elevation. I forget how high it is. I think it might be 7,000 feet, 8,000
Oh,
feet or more.
wow. I didn't
So
realize.
it's like, yeah, so it's like the higher you go, the colder it gets. And by the time I was like passing through the mountains, it was literally like whiteout blizzard conditions. And I was like, I did not count on this. So I was very happy to make it. I had a flight that night, but I had to cancel that and reschedule for the next day and just stay in Flagstaff because it was just too insane and I missed my flight. So, I got to hang out in the snow and it was just sort of fun. So glad I got there.
Yeah. That was, yeah, on top of everything.
Yeah.
And then
I
Scott
feel
goes
like
through a snowstorm.
this is definitely the tour of calamities. So it was like, how many natural disasters can we pour into one tour? So there was
That's
the hurricane. Yeah,
right.
there was the hurricane, and then there was the snowstorm. It was in October too. I'm like, we were really not expecting the snowstorm to cap everything off. So,
Yeah.
yes, of all the tours we've been on, I will definitely say this was hands down the most challenging for sure. But with that, we had a lot of amazing support. It was so cool because so our band Mankind is Obsolete had played several shows in Kayenta and also Page and Flagstaff. And we ended up running into people that knew us in Kayenta of all places. And so it was really, really cool to like reconnect with some amazing friends and supporters in Kayenta. So I love the silver linings of every challenge that you find that you really find who your friends are. And there's so many friends in all the nooks and crannies that we've been so grateful to have. So yeah, that was definitely a silver lining in that little chapter or that big chapter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad we made it home. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm also glad that I grew up in New Jersey, New York, so I did have a lot of experience driving in snow. It's been a while, but the rental place only had like the super small, compact, sporty, car with like, you know, definitely not like all-wheel drive or anything. So I had to be really careful. It's like
Wow.
the last thing we want is just like me careening off of some weird cliff or something, and then Scott was never seen again.
Oh my gosh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
So
man.
scary.
Yeah.
It's just a lot to process. Like when you think about how many things that tour just included,
Yeah.
it's a lot to
No,
process.
for sure. For sure. And it was like,
And good things
other than
too,
that,
but yeah.
yeah, it was like a really good tour. Like we had some awesome shows and you
Yeah.
know, I feel like Alice is the band that we're very good at like sort of creating lemonade from all the lemons, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever challenges are thrown at us, it's like we're always like, all right, how do we make the best of the situation? And everyone comes together and works together to figure out solutions. And that's the greatest part of this band, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely allows for a lot of creativity because I think it really hit me when we were like kind of like we were all like holed up in Kayenta and we're like, all right, so what do we do now? And everyone was just sort of like putting their thinking caps on, and there was a lot of creative solutions that were kind of like tossed around, and that's just
Mhm.
kind of and but we're here and we're home, so
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, that was quite the vat of lemonade. A rather large vat, I think we have had to make.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was like 2, 3 in the morning, and I had, finally found a taxi that was 250 miles away that answered at 2 AM and was willing to pick me and Steve up at 6 AM.
So that's a whole other story, and I would love to hear it if you wouldn't mind going through like
Yeah.
the exact timeline of events.
I forgot, like, we were trying to think of well, first of all, we found out there was no Uber, no Lyft, no taxis in Kayenta, so
Hmm.
we just had to start Googling anything that was close by and calling, and it was, like, 2:30 in the morning, almost 3, and so I found one guy that sleepily answered the phone. He was 250 miles away, and I was like, "Well, just asking, what would you charge?" He's like, "Well, I have to do the miles." I was like, "You do those miles and you call me back." Did not call me back. I called him back, this is, like, approaching 3 AM, and he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, you really wanna know the miles. Let me call you back in 5 minutes." Again, did not call me back. Um, so I finally call him back, and he's like, "Okay, I did the miles, so that'll be, what was it, 370?"
Ooh, wow.
And I was like,
Wow.
"Okay, we're doing it. We're gonna split it. Me and Steve are gonna split it." And because it would have been that amount to change my flight anyways. So I
Right.
figured,
Right.
this is fine. If this dude's willing to like sleep for 2 hours and then drive and pick us up and then take us another hour and a half to the little airport, then he is basically our hero. And he was actually so interesting on the way to the airport. He was telling us all these stories about how he saves people from the desert all the time.
Oh
And
Really.
that
wow.
he calls people and they're stranded in the middle of the desert, and this is kind of like what he does, is saving people from the
Wow.
middle of that area
Holy wow.
and helping people on the side of the road and kinda just being an overall hero. So really cool, nice young dude. I think he had a family too, and,
Hmm.
really glad he wasn't a murderer, and it was great.
Well, thankfully
Always a
you
good
were
thing.
with Steve, so you guys had like the power in numbers.
We
So
did,
yes,
yeah. It would have
yes,
been way more uncomfortable had I been alone. So I was really glad
Yeah,
I
yes,
had
yes,
Steve.
definitely.
yes, for sure.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that was quite the situation. Like as soon
Mhm.
as the transmission went out, like I knew, like it just became like we all had to just basically collectively troubleshoot together. You know, and like, all right, what's the most important thing? Well, you know, finding safety, shelter, because like literally we were in the middle of uh, you know, Navajo Nation reservation land, which is literally there's like hundreds, if you know, hundreds, 1 to 200 miles around you, where there's literally just not too much. It's a lot of empty desert, um, and it's just like it's a little intimidating. But then you know we had our internet, we had our satellite internet, so we were able to find a hotel, and we were like, hey, look, it's Kayenta. We played there a long time ago, and we were very lucky to end up there. And the one thing about that area is just the incredible people that are there. Extremely nice, extremely helpful, and it's like we met a lot of people that we knew too. It's like in Kayenta, like a lot of people there were like, I was at your show, you know, however many years ago for Mankind is Obsolete. You know, what can I do to help? You know, there was like multiple people every single day that were like recognizing us, and we're like, this is amazing. And so yeah, it was like we weren't alone, and that was just incredible to experience. You know, when you think
Yeah.
there's nothing around you, and then all of a sudden you're just surrounded by a community. You know, first thing in the morning, we're like, okay, I think we're gonna get through this, and we'll be fine. So
When
Yeah.
I was really touched by the community, oh, sorry, but
Yeah.
the community support that we got online, I know a lot of people were jumping in online and messaging and commenting and trying to, you know, if even if they didn't know anyone, just to say, hey, we're thinking of you, we love you, and it's really meant a lot. You know, just seeing as a whole, like how much people were like there for us. So we just, you know, super grateful for that amazing support that we had. And it's a reminder again, you know, you just when you go through challenges, you really see your friends. And so it's like one of those moments where you're like, well, hello, friends. We are so grateful for you. So, yeah.
It definitely was weird to be I mean, I'm so glad that we were able to get the van into Kayenta. I remember waking up in the van and hearing just a little voice saying, "It's the transmission." And I was
yeah.
like, "Oh, what?" I heard it from the front of the van. And I was like, "Oh."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And but we just like went like this all the way. Like we would have been stranded in the literal middle of the desert had we not been able to just roll right into Kayenta.
Yeah.
So and then we rolled right into a hotel that or a motel that had rooms for us. So, like,
Yeah.
literally the first place we just rolled into was, like, this motel right there on the edge. So, we got so blessed with that because it could have been so much worse. But
Oh my
I
God.
what was
Yeah.
so neat too, like, when that was happening, everyone was very calm. Like, no one was like, "Oh my god, we're about to be stranded in a desert." Like, everyone was just very quiet and calm, just like, "Fingers crossed, we're gonna roll right into here." And we did.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and if had we not, it would have been, a lot trickier considering there was no one around to really pick us up except that one guy that came out.
Yeah.
Uh,
I've found that just as a group, I mean, we've been through so much. And, you know, it's one of those things where, like, when things happen, as they do, sometimes back to back, but when things happen, I just find that we've all just sort of learned to just be like, okay, this is a thing. And it's a challenge, but like there is an other side to the challenge. And so, like, yeah, I usually that's just how the group rolls, where you know things happen and we're like, okay, this is a thing that we'll figure out. And it's not great, you know, do we wish things were
mhm.
different? I mean, sure, but obviously these are things beyond our control, and so it's just like, you know, what are you going to do? Um,
Yeah.
well, you can make the best of it and even make memories along the way. Like I just have some very beautiful memories of all of us bonding and laughing and somehow laughing in the midst of all of it. Because like what else are you gonna do in the middle of the desert? I mean,
Yeah.
I guess we could like make a little murder dance around the van or something. I don't know why murder dance came to mind.
Summon
Yes.
summon something. I don't know. Honestly, it was a cool town. I if I hadn't needed to get back to work, I wouldn't have been mad to stick around and, see it to
Yeah.
the end.
Yeah.
It was that little added stress of like, I need to get to my flight.
For sure. Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't like it felt okay,
Hmm.
which is
Yeah.
weird saying that in hindsight because it definitely was like on the verge of not being okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh my God.
I know. I feel like at a certain point, it's just like you just surrender and you're just like, well, this is another thing,
Mm.
you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
We sure did. We did face masks.
We did
The
do
three
face
of us.
masks.
The three of us were like, yeah,
Well,
we're gonna do face masks.
Did I do a face mask too? I
Yeah,
might
you
have.
did.
you
We all
did.
Yeah.
did.
I
Yeah.
don't know, sometimes when I'm having a really bad day, like something about a little self-care makes me feel better. And so
Yeah.
yeah, the van's out. We don't even know if she's coming back. And I looked at them and I was like, you guys want to do some face masks?
She did.
And I was like,
It was like in the middle of the night too. So thank you for indulging me.
It was great. I
it
just
was
had to
time to
finish those phone
moisturize.
calls, and then it was like, I'm into this. This is happening. As soon as I can not open my mouth as much to like leave messages for all these taxis everywhere.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
actually I wish I had gotten a little picture of that because that was
Oh
really
man.
We'll do it. We'll do it.
funny.
Yeah, where
Yeah. I
was our
feel like
cheese? Too? We missed it. There was no cheese at that
Cheese
moment.
was
Is
in
cheese
Colorado
always a
Springs.
cheese with Colorado Springs? Yeah, see,
That's when we were, yeah, this is when we were waiting for the tires to get repaired.
this was
So,
an odyssey of great magnitude.
yes.
what's crazy is like the tour began where like basically the shocks on our trailer completely split in half, and that could have been super catastrophic, but it wasn't. We were lucky that we got someone to come and fix it while we are playing our show in Denver. So we were like, oh sweet, this must be the one thing that's going to go wrong, and we got through it really quickly and easily. So that's just interesting. Like there was like a bunch of these sort of mechanical things that happened on this tour that
Yeah,
kept us on our toes.
definitely
Yeah.
kept us on our toes. So
Yeah.
interesting.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
I suppose we'll
I mean,
find the purpose for it at some point, but sometimes there's no purpose. And it just is what it
Yeah.
is.
yeah.
But yeah.
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 I don't know. We're Amia was asking if we've had time to rest and recover. For myself, not really. I was mentioning I'm diving into another show. And I'm singing and playing keyboards for this particular band. I've played with them before in Europe, and it's awesome. Steve and Scott are also playing as well. But we have a full set that we're diving into with rehearsal tomorrow. So that's been sort of on my docket is like taking my Alice hat off and putting my Near hat on, and then getting those songs ready. So that's gonna be fun. It's really heavy. It's really heavy music, and it's awesome. We do a cover of Florence and the Machine that me and
Nice.
Adam, the singer, sing together. So yeah, I really love it.
I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
that.
And a
Yeah.
sleep token cover, which is really
Yeah, we're
fun.
doing a sleep token cover called Sugar.
Yeah, it is probably the
Yeah.
heaviest guitar part I've ever learned. And I feel like it's heavier because the song itself, like there's such a contrast because it's like this really pretty like tinkly synth line, very melodic, and then all of a sudden it just gets super heavy and you're like, this is the best thing I've ever heard in my life. So I instantly became a fan of Sleep Token when I heard the song. So I'm excited to play it.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like them a lot. They also have like a lot of they actually have like three backing female vocalists that sing harmonies with them. So it's super epic. I just love it. I love anything with harmonies, as everyone knows. So it's
So
really, really cool. Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Yes.
excited to play some really heavy music and just get all the
Yeah.
anger out. Grr.
A sound grr.
Grr.
That was the
Yeah.
nicest grr. Grr.
Grr.
Grr.
Oh yeah. Oh, so Amia, yeah, I'm in several bands actually. Like I play when I'm in LA, or actually around, I play keyboards and different instruments for different bands. And Your is one of them. System Sin is another where I play, and System Sin also played at Dark Force Fest. But I play keyboards and singing backing vocals for System Sin. So yeah, several different bands that I get to play with, which I love. I actually I saw someone earlier, I think Ryben mentioned that he didn't know I was a keyboard player. And that's actually my first instrument is keyboards. Technically vocals, but I really went deep into training with keyboards first before I went into training with vocals. So yeah, it's something I actually really love, and my first job. So yes, I absolutely love when I get to play keyboards or guitar for other bands. So it is close to my heart. I saw a question from Sean. Sean Lammers was mentioning that you have a coworker who is an aspiring singer and intends to release a single next year. Would be grateful for any advice, pointers, or directions that anyone could give. That's awesome. I'm assuming this is her first single. And gosh, I don't even know what kind of advice I would give, because I just feel like everybody has their own pathway in terms of creating art and sharing it and expressing it. There's so many pathways to take. So I would just first and foremost say that for her, just making sure that it's music that she loves and that she wants to express and share. I find that with our songs, it's something that I really believe in, that I really feel expresses a certain truth. And so it's very easy for me to sing again and again and again. So if she's planning on sharing those things live, I find it like absolutely crucial when I'm sharing my music live that it's something that I can really sing from the heart. So I guess just first and foremost that the music feels very real to her. And then yeah, beyond that, I don't really know. Can you guys think of maybe pointers that might be helpful?
Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, just making sure that you're, connecting with people as much as possible. Sometimes as artists, we don't always like fully comprehend the stuff we're thinking about our art or our music. We're just kind of going through the motions and doing it naturally and organically. And learning how to separate that information and give it to other people is really valuable. Like, what is your process? What were you thinking during this? Where did this come from? These are things that like you wouldn't expect people want to know, but they really, really do want to know. And it's really important in communicating your art. And it almost takes like a little bit of a different brain shift where you go from creator mode to like creative communicator. And that's a really important like thing to do when you're releasing something too. Having a game plan for that.
What was
Yeah.
the question again, Tosh? Maybe.
Oh, pointers for his friend that is releasing a single in the spring.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Well, it depends on, you know, if they've been releasing other singles or if their first single. There's so many things that go into it, and like both of you guys said, there's just so much to think about. I mean, especially in the modern day and age, it's like being online and having internet. You can do a lot. Like you can get your music out in front of so many people, but it requires a lot of work. So if you're willing to put in the work, you could definitely make it done and get your stuff out there. So, but yeah, there's it would require more specific information. But I think overall, just like joining some communities. There's on Reddit. There's like I think we are the music makers community and music marketers. So there's all kinds of digital marketing to learn about that you can use. help get your release out. But yeah, as long as it's like your vision, your art, and your voice, I think that's the foundation. And then from there, you could just get it out into the world.
Yeah. And finding your people. I mean, Alice has taken our time to create the Mad Hatter Army and to create the community around us. And we've put a lot of love and time into the Alice Project and to Alice. We started touring heavily in 2016 ourselves. And that's just been sort of our MO, where we just put a lot of love into connecting with our people. So I think that's something that, if she, it depends. Some people don't like playing live. So this might, I mean, I'm not sure if this is like a studio project for her, but, it's like whatever the case is, like taking the time to really, find your people that, that connect with you and really, like really understand your music.
Yeah.
And love your music and support you. So that's a big part of it. So, but it's something I feel like there's not like a simple, quick, easy, like plug and play kind of, answer to that. I think there's, for us, like it's been such an organic growth process that took us a lot of time. So like every artist has their own story. So, but yeah, I think it's just for us, that the equation has always been a matter of love. And the hard work that goes behind it, because it's been a lot of hard work for sure. But that doesn't really feel like work. I mean, I have to say, like, making the music, creating the music, and doing all the things that we do, it's work, but it's like work that you love. So, yes, I hope that is helpful.
You got a question, Tosh, from Ronnie.
Oh, yeah.
How was it finally being able to meet Khaleesi?
Oh my gosh. Oh, so special, so special. I'm so glad I got to give her in-person scritches, because what a sweetie. Oh my gosh. And we got to sing to her, which is amazing. So yeah, we absolutely loved getting to spend the time with Khaleesi. She's such a sweet, sweet girl. We love our Khaleesi.
Yeah, speaking of like the New Orleans experience, I feel like that was such a huge highlight of the tour. All this other stuff we were talking about, our van breaking and everything, doesn't take away from like the incredible time we had, just hanging out in New Orleans for, however many days it was. I feel like it was like outside of time or something. It was really a magical experience. And thanks to Tosh, who really like put together the itinerary, that was all of her work. So really appreciate the amazing experience that was put together. And we hope to do it again next year. So if you're interested, just hit us up, let us know, and we'll keep your name in mind for the next year.
Yeah, that was a really, really special experience. I just loved getting to like hang out with everyone in person and for an extended time, because usually when we see people at shows, it's just sort of, it's very brief. I mean, it's an evening, which is wonderful, but like having a whole weekend together was really amazing. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that experience that we just had together. So and yes, lots of love put into that. So I like to change it up every year too. So and everybody has like their favorite things that they like. So if there's anybody coming next year that was there before, if you have any favorite things or wish list things, that's always really fun to include in the experience. So yes. Oh, yeah. I'm seeing our people. Yes, Amia, Rhonda, Jess. Oh, Tracy, it'd be amazing to see you there. I think you would really love it. We got to see Tracy twice on this tour, so both in Colorado Springs and Denver. Really appreciate you taking care of us and helping us out. So, but yeah.
Yeah, yes. Tracy delivered some very crucial supplies when it was very, very needed. So we really appreciate it. Sometimes it's like this very small things that make the biggest difference. So thank you. All right. So yeah, if you're here, feel free to ask any questions, and we're just hanging out in the chats. We just got off of our last tour of the year, and I saw someone asking about if we're coming to your town. I forget the person or the town that you mentioned, but we're going to be taking a break from touring for a little bit, probably until next fall, just because we're really going to be focusing on the new music. So we're very excited to just do like a whole hyper-focused situation where we could get this new album out and maybe some other singles, maybe some other albums done as well in the process. So we're very excited to just really just dive deep into music. So
yeah. I think that's something where we've been just, doing so much touring, which is awesome. It's just so hard to finish up songs in the studio, and we're already sitting on the next one. So we're like, okay, we just have to like be in town long enough to record this, and that's what we're doing. We're focusing on finishing So Below. So there's a lot of music on deck that we really want to like just dive into and start sharing it out and making the magic. So yeah. We have our friend in XRL7 that we're collaborating with too. So that's another thing that's like kind of on the horizon that we'll be sharing out sooner than later. So yeah. Yes. Indeed, indeed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
So if you're here, feel free to ask some more questions, but I'm not sure like what else do we have to talk about? We're doing our tea time right after this, so that's gonna be fun.
Yes. And Jess is asking if we can do a vampire tour. Oh heck yeah. Let's definitely do a vampire tour. Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm gonna look that up right now. New Orleans vampire tour. Okay, yeah, there's definitely many vampire tours. So I want to check out like I think Anne Rice's house. Is it sort of like a museum or is it just like here's her house? Don't go.
I don't know if it's a museum, but I know it's like here is a house. So
and Anne Rice is like, why are all these people always like hanging out here?
Yes, like why are these people in my front yard? Blair Out Productions is saying that we need a tour with Unicode Machine. We love those guys. We're really good friends with them.
Yeah.
We've done some tours with Ryan before, or a tour with Ryan in God Bombs and Justin Symbol. So yeah, very, very good people. We love them. And let's see. Dusty is asking what our plans are for Halloween. What is everyone's plans for Halloween? Do tell.
Pumpkin carving with System Sin.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Yes. I've never carved a pumpkin. So Clint, our singer of System Sin, is going to school me on proper pumpkin carving ways. He's like he's a visual artist master, so I feel like I'm gonna be lucky to get a little smiley face out of mine, but that I will have my first pumpkin carving experience for Halloween. How about you, Hazel? Do you have any special Halloweeny plans?
No, I haven't done Halloween in so long, and it's such a shame because my house is full of costumes. So I don't know. I might just wear something and take a few photos.
That sounds fun.
There's nowhere to really go down where I live, so
yeah, you'll have to make your own little costume party and then
make my own party. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bring the party to you, or
that's
bring the party to everyone.
Yes.
My own little party.
Yes. Oh man.
Yeah. I love making things. So I love the pumpkining factor. So cool. Yes, I plan on making a pumpkin pie and a pumpkin cheesecake for Halloween that I will bring over to the great pumpkin carving. Yes. Yes.
Oh, Pete was saying that Savannah is apparently the most haunted city in the country.
What?
And that's not surprising because when we played a show there, like just being there, it felt like very rich in history. So maybe because of the history, there's just a lot of ghost stories and that sort of energy hanging out. So it has a vibe, the whole city. So yeah.
Yeah, I loved we didn't get to really spend a lot of time in Savannah, but it was very beautiful from what we saw. So I loved our little dip in the foot in Savannah when we were there.
Hmm.
Definitely would love to spend more time. I know Salem was also really cool when we visited there.
Yeah, Salem is magical. Definitely,
Yes.
definitely a good place.
Yeah.
Zach was saying you should go live when you carve your first pumpkin.
Oh
Okay.
yeah,
Yes,
definitely.
Mhm. That could be arranged.
Definitely.
Yeah.
As long as you promise to laugh at me, you are welcome to laugh at me.
I never
I've,
laugh at
I've
you.
ne- I, yes, of course. No. Yeah. I'm sure that Clint probably has like fancy tools though. Like I don't even know how one goes about even beginning the whole process of carving a pumpkin.
Yeah, I mean, Clint's place, he has like a whole workshop for building all kinds of costumes, and he does like you go over there and it's just like here's like this disembodied head that's hanging out, and you're like, that's pretty cool. Um, but yeah, I feel like he's got the skills and the tools to do it. So
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
Yes. Oh, I
but
love
yeah, so
Laura's is making crispy treats with candy corn pumpkins and a yellow cake with candy corn chili and potato and ham soup. Sounds
Yum.
awesome.
wow.
Mm. Pumpkin curry. That sounds awesome. And Amia, I would totally send you some if I had the ability to instant transport. We keep on talking about instant transport, but that would be amazing if we could just like instant transport each other treats.
Yeah.
I think that would be very fun. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we had the technology from Star Trek for, the what is it called, the transporters or whatever, we'd
Yeah.
Hmm.
just be sending each other like food all day long, I'm sure.
Or
Yeah.
sending each other us. Like that would
Us
be
too,
pretty
yeah. We're
awesome.
just
That would
like
be
Yes.
so,
appear. We
yeah,
will
that would be
appear at your
great.
house and we will eat your food and then we will just disappear.
And then we will go.
And then we will go. Um, but yeah, we're
Yeah.
excited to be decompressing. Like Tosh said, we're not fully rested yet, but we will get there, and
Hmm.
and then we will be able to start working on some music as well. So we're excited
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. I know. Decompression is different for me each time because I find that like, when I've been moving really, really fast for a while and doing so many things, when I actually like take time to just be still, it's kind of hard where I'm like, I feel like I need to be doing something with my hands. Like, why are my hands not moving? And
Mhm.
so that's always a challenge to be like, okay, well, what is it that I actually want to do? Not what I'm supposed to do. Because,
Mhm.
people will tell you like, oh, you should take a bath or you should, whatever the case is. But I've been kind of feeling the pull for like being in nature. So I think
Mhm.
some proper nature time is calling.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's a nice thing about the fall. I feel like everything
Yeah,
gets like the weather's perfect and just being outside is always really lovely.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I saw Dusty Chalk was asking about how the quad cortex worked out. And for those that don't know, the quad cortex is basically a new guitar modeling rig that I have tried out for the last tour. It worked out pretty well, though. Speaking of things breaking, my tube amp absolutely broke as well while we were out
Oh,
on the road.
that's
So
right, it did.
it's
What?
been so solid for years and years, and I've used it, for so many tours, so many shows, and this tour is just like, nope, giving you the finger, and I'm not working. So I was going without an amp for a few shows, and that just doesn't work for me. So we had to make a guitar center stop, and we picked something up, which was all right. Um, and I returned it when we got home, and I'm going to be getting my amp fixed soon. So, but yeah, I feel like the actual quad cortex was awesome, and I still can't. I still need to have a tube amp though, like as part of my live rig. I feel like quad cortex would be perfect if we were playing like enormous venues, maybe, you know, and it's just like you have the best sound in the world. But a lot of places we play, it's like you're sort of depending on like providing your own sound, you know. So having an amp is sort of necessary for me, at least, you know, for my sound. But yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, this was a lot of breaking things on this tour.
Yeah.
At one point, I was
Yeah.
just sort of like, well, I mean, at least there were other things that were working, but there were many things that we had to do a lot of like adjusting on the fly.
Yeah.
So we opened up for Urban Heat and help me out.
Male,
What was the full name?
tears.
And Male Tears. But at the Urban Heat show in Detroit is when your amp first broke. I remember that. And so, you know, and it's like it's really funny. Every show is really important, right? It's always something where it's like every show is like it's your one chance to get to share your music in that one place. But you know, this particular show, we were like, wow, this is our first time playing at Smalls. We'd heard so many amazing things about the venue, and opening up for Urban Heat. And then Scott's amp breaks. And then we're like, okay, what are we gonna do? And so, yeah, it was sort of like a scramble and figuring out like, you know, like how to make it happen. So, yeah.
It's fun.
Yes.
Keep you on your toes, you know.
So fun.
So fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what was some favorite moments on the tour for y'all?
Do you have any Hazel?
I had a lot of favorite moments. The milestone was amazing.
Oh my
I
God.
really did. Yeah, that was a great show. There were some times where the theremin was just like hitting the right sounds and and doing like the things I wanted to do. I really enjoyed those moments, and obviously rocking out with particularly you guys, since you're on my side of the stage, more or less. Yeah. And also the show with Male Tears, I really enjoyed their set. I had a good time with that. So, yeah.
Yeah, highlight for me is definitely the Milestone Club show. That was just like ridiculously amazing. So we get there and we're setting up merch, and the owner of the club like, you have to go to this other section to set it all up because apparently there's going to be a lot of people tonight because they, you know, did really well on the pre-sale tickets and everything. So we're like, all right, sweet, that's awesome. And this is the kind of club is like once there's like a full room, there then becomes a really amazing just sort of energy fills up the place because it's so historic. Like I think it first opened in 1967, and it's been in place for like every single band that you've ever heard of in your life has come through at some point, and they've all like signed the wall, you know. So there's just so much history there. So when you're playing, you just can't help but feel, you know, like you're standing on the shoulders of giants, you know. And it's an incredible feeling. And then when you have a packed room, the fans like, and everyone that were there were just so like into the music and just rocking out, and they were like with us, you know. And you just can't ask for a better crowd. So it was awesome.
Yeah, it's really special when everybody just feels like super in sync with each other. There's just nothing like it. Yeah, definitely a highlight for sure. Yeah. I'm seeing some friends jump on. Hello, Simeon. Oh, Simeon Smith was there for that show. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah. So you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was good.
But I'm sure we'll be back there on a future tour. I feel like that is quickly becoming sort of a home base on the East Coast. So whenever we go to the East Coast, I feel like North Carolina, Milestone. We also hit up another place called the Monstercade in Winston-Salem. So that's really fun. For whatever reason, it just seems like, you know, a lot of synergy there for Alice. So we appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Neil is asking how we decided on our makeup. So each one of us does our own makeup. And we all have like different like themes, I guess, that we play around with, but really it's like it kind of honestly changes from night to night,
Yeah.
sort of depending on the mood or your hand, because sometimes like when you're doing the makeup in the van and your hand is super shaky and you're like, oh, that is a happy accident. I'm just gonna make a little tree out of that. And yeah, my Bob Ross impression. But mine was inspired kind of like by the idea of the phoenix, like rising from the ashes. And I've always loved like I've always felt very attuned to the moon. So I've included like sort of like playing around with the element of fire and the moon, and incorporating that with stars as well for my makeup. So yeah. Hmm. Scott, do you
Yeah.
have any?
No,
Yes.
I mean, you're very correct that it changes night to night. I feel like for me, I'm not the best with the makeup situation, so I'm like sort of always struggling. It takes me a long time to try to get something decent going on. But I find that like less is more sometimes. And I love like sort of like this sort of cybernetic sort of like sort of stripe thing, which is like forget the word for it right now. But anyways, it seems to work pretty good for me. So I will continue exploring, and maybe one day we'll have like, you know, someone pop in and be like, I have an idea, and then, you know, try something different. I don't know. Work in progress.
Yeah. Work in
Yeah,
progress.
I think I went more like mystical with mine. Mine's
Mhm.
kind of like reminiscent of like what you would find like Middle Eastern face jewelry.
Oh,
And then so that's what this kind of is that like mysterious you know, chain look like wrapped around the face, and then I've added some third eyes here. So I was going a little bit more like mysterious and whimsy with it. Um so yeah, that's where mine came from.
yeah.
Yeah.
I really like how you do yours.
Oh, thank you. I feel like it is also
Inspiring.
a work in progress. And Tosh gave me some jewels last time, so that's how I added the third eye. So I'm definitely gonna incorporate that pattern there. So
Oh, that's awesome. So XRL7 jumped on to the chat, entered the chat in
Yay!
YouTube.
hello.
Yes. Very much looking forward to making our musics together and for the
Yeah,
episode. Yes.
yes, yes.
Yes.
We'll finally
XRL7 for
have some
everyone
time.
is check out their YouTube channel. It'll be awesome because we are going to be in one of the future episodes, and I've voiced a character there. So that's going to be something that we're playing around with that comes out soonish. Yes, excited for that.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just talking about the fact that we're excited to get back to ground zero, just working on music, and that's like right on the dock, just waiting for us, you know. As soon as we get the last of cleaning up all the madness and finishing this awesome gig with Inyar. So
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Let's see what else. What
Oh,
else?
Jamie is asking if we ever make it to Philly. Would love to see us live again. Yes, we would love to play Philly. I don't think that Alice has ever played Philly, so that's definitely on the bucket list for sure. Like usually we play like New York. At Dark Forest Fest we play New Jersey. We've played Salem, but we've never played Philly, so I guess we are overdue to make that happen. So
there's
future
a
tour goals.
yeah, there's a few places that are like in the vicinity that we were supposed to play that. What was that? That bar XVI or something like that. I forget. Oh man.
Oh, right.
And then we played at Club Lafayette, which is like basically it's like this sort of like long running goth night, monthly goth night
Mhm.
in, I want to say is that in Allentown or somewhere close to the area? But yeah, we need to play Philly proper.
Yes.
And that's, yeah. And it's good to see you, Jamie. I'm actually going to be working on some music for James Curcio, or Jamie Curcio, for some sweet new music that he's putting out. I'll be recording some session guitar work for that very soon. Probably starting this week.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's exciting.
That is
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Wait. Sorry, go ahead.
oh, I don't think I was saying anything.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just hanging out.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be doing our tea time after this, for those of us, those who are in the inner circle. So we'll look forward to hanging out with y'all there. And thank y'all so much again for hanging out with us. Our post-tour decompression stream. Thank you for your support. We, as we mentioned earlier on the stream, it's been kind of a challenging time. White Rabbit is still in Flagstaff, so. Thank you so much for all of the support that's come out to help us get White Rabbit back, because transmissions are a little bit pricey. So we are trying to do our little bake sale and raise funds to get White Rabbit home. But in the meantime, thank you again for all of the support and encouragement. We'll be working on music and keeping y'all posted, and yeah, more of these live streams, I think, to follow. And yeah, we'll be keeping y'all as well in the loop as we start piecing together all our new music. Yes, there'll be more of that.
Many more, much more.
Yes. So but yeah, thank y'all so much again for taking the time to hang out. And yeah, we will hopefully see y'all at least online in the near future.
Yeah. Yes. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, see you soon.
Right. Bye, all.
Everyone.
Okay, bye.